Jono Naylor.
Tēnā koe e te mana whakawā.
Tēnā koe.
I huri no te whare nei. Tēnā tātou katoa. Mr. Speaker, I just purposefully asked actually my colleague to step aside for a second because I just came down to the House to find somebody and realised that this was the conversation that was going on and wanted to participate. Because, Mr. Speaker, I think this is a vitally important bill for the future of Aotearoa New Zealand. Te reo Māori has been for too long in the back seat, being ignored by many people and, you know, I guess too many people for such a long time. My journey with Te reo Māori started, I guess, when I was at it didn't start at primary school because no one ever spoke it, but at Hiona Intermediate in Masterton, I was one of the two skinny white boys who was a part of what was known as the Māori Club, because that's what it was called back in 1978. And we learnt a few tunes and a few dances and a few whatevers, and it was kind of a fun thing to be a part of. But actually for me, growing as I grew older, I realised that it was an important thing, that this language was an important thing. And so I guess I disciplined myself along the way by practicing looking at road signs as I went past and practicing and teaching myself with the A, E, I, O, U. How would this word be pronounced? And so in order for me to be able to at least pronounce Te reo Māori as well as I possibly could, because I felt that was the least that I could do. And then when I was doing my social work degree, I had the opportunity to study Te reo Māori for 1 year. And, you know, the frustrating thing about that is I don't remember everything I learnt. And so there's a lot of things to go back and relearn. And a couple of years ago, my wife came home one day and said, you know what, I think I'd like to learn some Te reo Māori. And she said this to my daughter, who had been going out with someone who is now her husband, but she'd been going out with him for about a month or so. And my wife said, you know, I'm thinking of learning Te reo Māori, and my daughter turned around and said to her, well, you better, Mum, because your mokos are going to speak it, which was a little bit frightening, but it's okay, she married him, and no doubt, and I have no doubt that actually my mokos, my grandchildren, will grow up to be bilingual, because that's important to their father, and actually it's going to be important to their mother, and it's going to be important to me. Not that there's any hurry if you're listening, guys, they've only been married a year. But it's going to be important, and suddenly it's, this language is going to be a part of our family, and so I think it's beholden on many of us to be able to do that. So, Mr. Speaker, I guess what I want to say is this bill is really important. It's really important for what is contained in it, but it's really important for the message that it sends to everybody in Aotearoa New Zealand, that Te reo Māori is an important part of who we are as a nation. It's an important part, a treasure for us to make sure that we continue with going forward. I want to acknowledge the Minister for the great work that he's done with this bill, and I want to acknowledge the work of the Select Committee for bringing it to this House. Mr. Speaker, this is an important thing. It is an important thing for all of Aotearoa New Zealand, and I consider it a great privilege to be a part of this Parliament and bringing this forward, and look forward to seeing it progress through further stages in the House.